Well, we are back for some Bleach Soul Resonance, and we're going to be doing a bit of a account roundup and talking about this bit of, I don't want to say drama, because it's really not drama, but like bug abusing that was taking place and the sort of punishment that was doled out, because it's a pretty extreme punishment, though if I'm being honest, it's kind of just the, tail of the tape. I can't really feel too bad, but we can see that from their words, so they do not go into specifics. We have the battle rewind updates. Substitute Soul Reaper, the issues in the battle rewind gameplay have been fixed and the feature is now back online. We sincerely apologize for the inconvenience and have sent the following compensation accordingly. And if you guys were on there, late last night, we got, when I, logged on to do my, dailies, I was going through it, and what essentially was happening was that if we go here, it said phase plans, and this just said can be unlocked at, level 25, and there was no way for me to get in there, right? I was a little bummed, but they got it back online pretty quickly. The thing is, though, they did not actually have a, what should I say? They got it back online pretty quickly, but we didn't really get the, the rewards, the resources back until just now, or, a little bit earlier in the day, right? CN and SEA got it earlier. As it goes, they get updates slightly earlier, so it makes sense. Hopefully, as we go on with the game, that the Aizen, releasing at the same time for Global is not just a specialty because he's hype, and continues to be the actual, case. But as for what happened, I mean, I guess we should take a look at, what is the thing that actually caused this, right? So, here we are. Moss, who is a content creator for the game and someone who reports on things, said, the reason why Battle Rewind is taken down is because there's this bug that has been going on from launch that allowed people to farm corridor keys non-stop without consuming rewind attempts on CN, possibly CA, and Global. Dev hit them with a 10-year ban, no question. Now, I know that some people out there are like, well, that's a little extreme. Maybe you could just do this, that, blah, blah, blah. I'm not gonna lie, as far as, doling out punishments in this way, and I guess we don't need this anymore because now we actually do have the compensation in game, so as far as doling out punishment for stuff like this, here's the thing. And this is not to say that I'm like, oh, I'm on the side of, $1 million, $billion gotcha companies. I'm really not. But if I'm just thinking as neutral, as flatly as possible, if I have a game that primarily is upkept by sort of doling out content, slow rolling content, measuring content, and the only way to sort of expedite this, but you can't even really infinitely do that. You can't really infinitely expedite this process anyway, is to, circumvented by doing this endlessly. As the company, I mean, it is what it is, right? Like, this isn't Destiny. This isn't, World of Warcraft. This isn't, some, PoE. One of these ARPGs or MMOs or anything like that, where the farming is a reward for sort of playing the game in general, right? In this case, gachas, they sort of meter out their content. It's not infinite, there's no way it diverges outward and becomes like this infinitely replayable thing. The way they can make money and sustain themselves and are rewarded for coming out with a game that has been as fun as Bleach Soul Resonance is putting in place these roadblocks so that people don't burn out on endlessly doing things, so people don't endlessly just have access to everything. If you wanted to do something like that, you'd just be playing, an MMO or something, right? Or a game that has an initial buy-in, right? If you had to pay $60 for, Bleach Soul Resonance just to play it, it would make more sense that you could endlessly farm things like core stamps, blah, 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 blah. But because it is a free-to-play game and it is existing in the gacha space, I do understand the severity of the punishment here. I mean, it is just sort of what it is. I don't really think it is being too, too cruel in this case. But as for me, I did go in and do my my trial run, I'm still a little. So here's the thing. Here's like an update. Okay. Here's an update. So we now have slight confirmation, I would like to say, that they do know how many times you do Stamp Corridor. There's some kind of like receipt, some kind of log. There's something attached to your account that lets them know, because how would they catch people doing this without this like being a record? So what I assume that means is that we have something like this. We can't see it. We don't have it in game somewhere for us, but I assume that somewhere there is a record of how many times you pull and do core stamps, right? With that in mind, I am going to say that why not just do the core stamps then, right? It's not really that big a deal, because let's be honest. I said that if you want it to be as optimal as possible, then continue to use your core stamps. It's not really important, right? You don't really need to continue to grind away your core stamp medals if you've already got your main team satisfied. That said, there is the other like elephant in the room when it comes to core stamps, which is we don't actually know when we could be getting some sort of pity or this or that. But what we do now know is that the chance of them, you know, taking into account how much you've spent and doling out a reward sort of like 1 to 2, or, you know, every 1 in 5 you've done, or blah 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 blah, you know, you get this much back. That could be a real thing, right? We now have at least an inkling of this being the case, which is pretty cool. Because of that, I suppose I'm back on it. Also, every week you need to at least do your core stamp runs, because so long as there's a battle pass up, there is a battle pass reward for you doing your runs, so that is also a thing. But yeah, let's iron on through. Let's see what we get here. Probably nothing much, if I'm honest. I am going to reveal that I did get a core stamp for a character last night as I was doing those runs, and it's rubbing my hands together because it's a pretty good one. But other than that, like most of you, I've just been getting dupes of things I have, or things that are 5-star instead of the 6 stars, so pretty sad. It's certainly not Aizen's. You can see right here that I'm using Aizen. You can't see his being used. And it's definitely not Toshido's, because I would have been, you know, spazzing. So here we are, we're just, you know, autoing through this, and hopefully we get a little lucky one. One thing I do like about this core stamp system, if I can glaze a bit though, this isn't like, oh my god, it's perfect, it doesn't need to be changed. It definitely needs to be changed. But one thing I do like is that even if you luck into a rainbow box, it doesn't reset your progress. It just counts as a separate thing. In a lot of gacha systems, when you get a rainbow, like you get an SSR or something, it resets the progress of your pity, and it can you know, have people feel very like they wasted their pity and stuff like that, right? Because they were so close, and then they got an SSR, and now they're not actually getting the reward of the pity, and so on and so forth. In this case, when it comes to the rainbow boxes, it doesn't seem to be the case. Did I get only purples there? Oh, okay, all right. But yeah, that doesn't seem to be the case, which is pretty cool. I would say that's not a bad system. So there we go. We're at 83% now. The next two that we do, the next two like 10 sweeps that we do, will get us another SSR. But yeah, I'm back on the case. After this, I'm back on the case that you could just spend these, and I assume whatever reward they give out after will be referencing some sort of receipt they have. So we can go ahead and grab these, go ahead and use these real quick, these, you know, these whatever tokens. Go ahead and pop these real quick, and let's get into it. Who did I get? Character, it's gonna be the boy. So you can see he's now up to 26,000 essentially, and this is on pretty meager gear. I mean, I literally don't have this up. This is not a good enough piece. I don't have this up. I mean, this piece is not good at all. This is a bad piece of gear. And I have this up. This is not a good piece at all. So this character could probably ding 30,000, but I did level his stamp up to a complete level 30. Now that I have sort of confirmed that Gin looks like a character I want, we have 3 weeks between characters. I, at this point, have 20,284 stamps. like, or not stamps, but jades, I have no reason to just like sit on them really, because it's a character I want. Grimm, if he comes out after, Grimm is a character I have a weird history with Grimm, because I do think he is cool aesthetically, but I was always someone who was more of a fan of Okieta. I do think he's cool, but the show at the time and the manga at the time didn't really let him do things. So to me, he feels a little bit like Bleach's version of Potential Man. Again, if you love Grimm, he's cool. I'm not saying he's not cool. I'm just saying for at the time when I was reading, you know, through the series initially, I was just like, man, this character is sick looking, but he doesn't really do anything. So I don't know how, like, oh my god, I'm just so hyped for Grimm coming out, because I don't know if I'll see him and be like, eh, or if I'll see him and be like, nah, the feeling's back, the real is back, the vill is back, you know, flow bananas, peerless back, etc., etc. But yeah, let's just go through. We're just doing some chores. We're doing some chores, cleaning up. We can see that. Ooh, we got this at Ascension level 5. That's pretty good. It is good to just, if you're wondering like, oh, should I be doing this? Should I be doing that? Should I spend these? What I've been doing is that I just get them to 5 and then I save the excess, because you're not going to have, in a perfect world, you would have all the character core stamps, and in a perfect world, I guess, those core stamps would always be the best, but I don't think they will always be the best. And because of that, I'm more inclined to just say, hey, if you get like a bonus here, you know, if you get a bonus of these and you have them, just lock one every time, because you always want the highest chance of having a like more fleshed out account. And until now, like, there just doesn't seem to be. This is really good, by the way, because there's no reason I would use this Renji, but like, so let's say I did. This would be a like pretty good one to, you know, if you're free to play player, this is a pretty good one to like iron out your team, because otherwise you have to use Uryu, and Uryu is not like a character you want to be using as your main DPS, right? Even though this character has like these problems too. I hope this character is better. 1,000-Year Blood War will boost this character infinitely, but we are still a very far way away from that. For a lot of people, by the way, who are like, oh, what characters can we get next? Are they going to go from this to 1,000-Year Blood War? There is so much more of Bleach to do. Like, we are really far away from them covering that if they want to. I don't think they're going to skip around. Aizen has to go through so many forms. Like, I think people want like 1,000-Year Blood War right now because it's hype, which, in, you know, the anime's happening, it's hype. But think about this in like Dokkan terms, where like once they're done with Daima again, like Daima's gone, right? Like it's again, we're back to like nothing new. In this case, of course, we know that something is coming with Daima, or not Daima, but Dragon Ball in general. But in you know, the last few years of Dragon Ball, once the material's done, it's done. So I do not want them to rush through. I want a Captain Commander, then I want a 1,000-Year Blood War Captain Commander, I want a Unohana, then I want a blah 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 commander, then I want a, you know what I mean? I hope they don't speed through. I think that would be not very good. One character every so often, like say like Anniversary, they want to do a special you know, leap forward, I'd be down with that, I guess, but I do hope that, like, you know, Bleach Soul Resonance is here to last and not a game here to just like pump and dump. Like, if they want to pump and dump this game, they put out this arc, they put out none of the Arrancar, so we get none of the Arrancar other than Grimm and Okieta, and then they just go to 1,000-Year Blood War. That would actually worry the hell out of me, genuinely. I'd be like, oh no, like maybe they're not gonna, maybe this isn't a game they want to, you know, play or make for a while. Like, that's just me though. Maybe I'm tripping, but that would tell me bad things are coming. So yeah, hopefully instead we continue down the Arrancar arc. We get, you know, updated versions of Gin needs an updated version again. Tozen will need another one. Aizen will obviously need one. So many Arrancar are on the table. Bankai versions of them, Shikai versions of them, Yukitake, Shunsui, Captain Commander, blah, blah, you know what I mean? Like, majority, all these characters could have new things, and I hope that's the direction we go with. But, you know, as for like filler, like the bounce or something, you know, it could be cool, but, you know, hopefully we just get the coolest ones of them. What's that dude with the black hair? he wore like a he was the one who like took Ichigo's memories or something like that. That guy's sick. They should put him in the game. I always thought he was cool looking, but yeah. We'll see, because ultimately this is in the hands of companies and, you know, the people producing this game and IP and stuff like that. Usually they can't do things until they're told. So with all that being said though, yeah, a little update on characters, little update on what happened as far as compensation. The bans are fine. It is what it is. Ultimately, like if you cheat and get caught and you get punished, I mean, what did you want, right? Oh, you broke the law and went to prison? Oh, I'm so sorry, dude. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. But yeah, like if you like the video, subscribe to the club. We all go make it, and peace.